everyone? It's Joe here from Wraps Caps. I'm super excited today because I've got some new gear in. I'm about to take a hike and I want you to join me on that adventure. If you haven't noticed yet, you can check out our online store, wrapscaps.com. Hats are now out. The merch is now real and the mushroom farm's getting built up. Quick update on that. So obviously everyone is quite aware of what's going on right now with the supply chain shock of the economy and building up the farm right now. Some of the more industrial equipment that I needed for the sterilization process, and then also 1 or 2 fans are on back order by like 4 weeks. So we're almost there. Farm's getting built up right now, hoping to have mushrooms out starting around, I don't know, late October at this point. But one of my goals has been, in the meantime, updating the website, getting the content built, getting the store built, still providing education to you because I can still teach you about mushrooms in the background while we're getting the farm all prepped and ready. So this is an extension of that. Where am I right now? I'm in an undisclosed location. I might be in Australia, for those down under. I might be in Canada. Or I might be in the United States. Who knows? So I said I got some new gear. I just picked up a new drone. So I'm gonna pull the drone out today on the hike. Also picked up, actually the drone is really about it. So the goal for today is to just go out, have a good time, see the woods. This is a part of my morning hike anyways. So for me, it's testing out the new gear, bringing you along the way, and just enjoying the outdoors. Let's see if we can find any fungi too. All right, cool guys. So here we are, but where am I right now? So I'm currently in Connecticut and I'm on a trail that's called the New England Trail or the Blue Trail. The New England Trail or the Blue Trail is a single trail that goes from Guilford, Connecticut all the way up to northern New Hampshire, or I think mid New Hampshire. So it's a pretty significant resource for us here in New England. If you're an individual around the country that doesn't have the opportunity to have an abundance of woods and forestry like this, you would find this as a really cool spot to come if you're ever visiting New Hampshire, Massachusetts, or Connecticut. So you can pick up the Blue Trail at any of those states and you could hike it all the way through, or you could hike it a portion of the way through. And that's where we are right now. So we're on the Connecticut portion of the Blue Trail. What we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be going for a hike out to a local reservoir here. And we're gonna, as always, keep our eyes out for certain fungi and mushrooms and plants that are growing around the area. I'll see if I could stop and we can identify some of them. But I'll also get some nice scenic footage as well. So, all right, cool. Let's get on it. All right, guys and gals. So here we are. I'm walking down the trail. And what do I see? Decaying trees. So you see that tree? And you see that tree right there? Those are decaying trees. Now what I noticed on here is first what I thought when I was walking by is turkey tail, but this is actually what's called false turkey tail mushroom. And there's a few distinct ways that we can tell the differences between the two. One of the ways that we can tell the difference between turkey tail and false turkey tail is that false turkey tail is more shelf life. And what I mean by that is that this mushroom here, it's not really a thick polypore mushroom. It's a shelf-like mushroom. And you can see I flick it and it's more shelf-like, right? The other difference is that a turkey tail mushroom will have pores underneath, white pores, whereas this mushroom here is more shelf-like. So there's not you can't noticeably see any spores underneath there. It's flat in one piece. One of the other common identifiers is that false turkey tail will be brownish. It'll have a tanner color, a light tan to brown color, and this is the tan color paired up with the fact that it's a shelf life like fungus instead of a thick polypore, and also the fact that this mushroom does not have pores underneath, it's a flat surface, would lead us to believe that it is not turkey tail, but it is false turkey tail. And you can see it's growing all over this tree right here. This tree is decaying, and the mycelium doing what the mycelium does. It is colonizing and ingesting the wood. This is a tree that fell on the ground, so the mycelium is now going through the breakdown process of decomposing the wood, and then it will leave in turn after it decomposes the tree is fresh soil for the rest of the forest floor here to take advantage of. There's some more right there. Such a beautiful area. Well, that doesn't look too good. So this is an example of why when you're on the trail you should always be looking out around you. Try not to look at your feet all the time. Here's a tip, just lift your legs up when you're walking, pretend you're marching in the wood, and make sure you look around you, but more importantly look above you, because right now, for example, that tree limb looks like that's about a crack, huh? Oh, that's okay. We're going anyways. So, that same tree that I said to be careful about also just happened to be the same area where I found a beautiful cluster of what I think is honey mushrooms. Look at these guys, see? Look at them. They were literally, I mean, it's in a completely dangerous spot, that's for sure. You know, you don't really want to be underneath that, but you know, this is a cool little treasure to find. So again, I believe that this is the honey mushroom. So let's see if I can get it into focus here. You'll notice this has the traditional gills. So these are gills. And what these gills do is they contain the spore, the mushroom spore. The mushroom spore is the reproductive part of the mushroom. So it's how it continues to stay alive and reproduce. So these gills are what release the mushroom spore. And those are growing in a large cluster there. Let's see what else we find. So we found some what I think were honey mushrooms. That's pretty good. It's actually it is a little moist out here. I thought it was pretty dry. I think it may have rained overnight or the morning dew. You know, that's one of the best things about actually coming out is that you never know what you're gonna find as far as mushrooms go, because there's such a short lifespan on the fruiting process and the fruiting stage of a mushroom that they're above ground and then they die within a few days. So when you see them out in nature, you're really catching a glimpse of what exists underneath the soil that will disappear in a matter of hours or days most of the time, and it could never grow there again, or it could. So it's a really, really cool thing to know, because when you see them, you start to appreciate them more and more, because you're catching a very short glimpse of the lifespan and the breathing part of that organism living underneath the ground. So what I do is, if I'm going to cut them for myself to take out of the woods, I don't have a foraging license, so I don't even mess with eating any of these things. I don't recommend doing that unless you're an actual expert. But if you are going to harvest them, and I harvest them for my own spore bank library, and also to do artwork to help sell to you guys, which helps support the honeybee research, and it also helps wildlife preservation. What I'll do is I'll cut them with a knife at the stem. So I actually have an actual, you can use any knife, but I have an actual, you know, a knife that I use here. And then what I do is I cut them at the stem of the mushroom, but I try to leave at least a portion of that stem because it'll help, you know, the fruiting process. As it goes through another fruiting cycle, more mushrooms will grow there. So it's not like you're pulling the complete mushroom out of the ground and the mycelium where it might not grow again. If you cut it, it has a higher chance that it'll grow again. So it's highly recommended that you cut it. I also don't take all of it. I'll leave a portion there just to respect, you know, the mushroom, to respect the environment. I want the mushroom to keep growing there, so I'm not going to harvest the entire thing. And if there's anyone that comes behind me, I want them to be able to see it and then enjoy it as well. So two things I'll do if I'm going to harvest them is I'll use a knife to cut them at the base of the stem pretty much, and then I won't take all of it. I'll of course leave some there for others and also for the environment here, so it keeps growing. All right, cool. Let's see what else we can find along the way. It's been a good day so far. I've actually been pretty impressed on the growth out here and what I've been seeing. All right, so I'm on my way back now. We're not gonna make it out to the reservoir. I do apologize in advance. But I underestimated how much battery the drone was gonna have, so I'll make sure to create another video. These are my local woods here, so I'm out here hiking all the time, and we'll make sure we get it then. But on my way back, I actually found another mushroom, and I wanna show it to you because I think it helps with distinguishing the difference between polypore mushrooms and also more shelf-like mushrooms like we just saw with the turkey tail and the false turkey tail mushroom. This right here, I found on the side of the trail as I was walking along, and this is birch polypore mushroom. So I know it's birch polypore mushroom because this is a birch tree limb, and these are polypore mushrooms, so they are mushrooms that grow on trees. And if you'll notice underneath, you'll see that they have pores. Oh, I don't know if we're gonna get that. It's okay. But you can notice how they're thicker. They're thicker than the false turkey tail was. That one was more thin, it was more shelf-like. These ones are a little chunkier, they're more flat, and they're growing right off of this tree limb here. So what that means is that there's mycelium inside this bark, and it's growing off of the tree because it's growing inside the actual tree itself. So this is really cool. This is an easy, this is a better way for you to actually see the difference between polypores and those shelf-like mushrooms. But yeah, so we have here the birch polypore. All right, everyone. I think that's gonna call it quits for today. I'm just now approaching where we came in from, but I think that was a pretty successful trip. Saw definitely more mushrooms than I expected to. Was able to teach you about polypore mushrooms and turkey tail mushrooms and how you can differentiate between the two of them. And also was able to really share the outdoors with you. And you know, I hope you really like the content. I think I was impressed with the drone, so I'll definitely have more to come on that, more footage. And yeah, so the mushrooms I harvested, what I do is I actually create artwork with that. So if you're interested in purchasing the artwork that I created with the mushrooms that I picked on today's trip, you can look out for a link on social media, or you can go to rapscaps.com and check out our store, and then we'll have that for you there. All right, everyone, thank you so much. Take care.